Why would you just do that when you can grow everything? Like, I've always wanted to grow my own food anyway, because you don't know what they're doing with the food I hate.
Yeah. It's a
So it's
different
like,
it's a different culture nowadays, you know, like I didn't know how to grow anything. I listened to that one, you know, best of Bob Marley. I didn't know what they were doing in Jamaica. My father's parents from Barbados, from the islands, you know. And in the islands they do the same thing. They all grow their own food. Everybody has a garden out there.
everybody.
Okay? And
Or a mango tree in the backyard.
a
Okay?
mango tree in the backyard, you know, you got the fruit, the avocados, the lettuces grow wild. You eat the dandelion, you eat everything that grows out there in the Caribbean.
Out there and just
You
put some
know,
rosemary, you know?
yeah, you pick some rosemary, some mint,
Mint.
even tobacco. You know, you
Yeah, there
shouldn't,
is tobacco too.
but you know,
Wow.
yeah, tobacco's all right. It's all right. You know, as a crop, probably isn't good for anybody's health, right? But it's definitely interesting as a crop. So anyway, so GreenCell got started with about 4 of the farm companies last year. I'm the CEO, president, whatever. I'm just the driver, right? I put all these pieces together, and other people are a lot smarter than me.
So were you the one that brought everyone together?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm a marketing sales guy. That's what I do in banking. I sold, you know, created products, but always solutions, right? So one of the things a lot of people don't get, and you see people in the cannabis industry really focusing to help people get this, is establishing a proper business. It's very easy to get your LLC. Get an LLC, and when you get an LLC or an S corp or something like that, register it the right way. So you have to pick. There's a list of 800 different types of companies you can pick. What are you? Car, sales, this, that, agriculture. A lot of people went into cannabis. They said we're health and wellness. All right. 2 years later, you go to a bank, say, I need some money. For what? For my health and wellness business. The bank doesn't know how to assess which market you're in. So we knew 2-3 years ago that if we set up as an agricultural company, that somewhere down the line, we're going to be growing plants. If we didn't have our license, great. We would grow something else. When we do get the license, we still have to grow other plants. Like, for example, I have an indoor facility that I'm not using right now because it's way too expensive. So we sublet all this other crazy stuff and landlord nonsense, very expensive. But we were going to put so much oxygen in the air. We had to upgrade the air filtration system to something very serious. Money we didn't have and money we didn't want to spend. So we were going to do mushrooms, not magic mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, all over the top, because mushrooms create carbon dioxide, and they suck up the oxygen from the hemp.
Oh, so the hemp was going to die, so you couldn't have that.
We couldn't have that. It'd be too much oxygen.
Yeah, they need oxygen.
Then the state says, well, you can't grow your hemp, which is cannabis, next to food that somebody may eat. So we couldn't sell the mushrooms if we grew it, because they think that THC is going to go to the mushrooms and get a bunch of people high. So what do you do with the mushrooms? You leave it in the soil, and now you have living soil to use. You know, so it's imperative for cannabis growers, for other growers, for other farmers.
Mushrooms help the soil.
Mushrooms help the air first, right? So when you got a controlled environment like yours, you're pumping carbon dioxide into that air, right?
Yeah.
As you're taking oxygen out, because the cannabis plants eat carbon dioxide. If you're in a closed room and they're not outside, they're not eating the carbon dioxide. So you're pulling air from outside to push into your greenhouse, and then CO2 oxygen out. But the other part is, if you're outdoors, what's happening with the soil? So cannabis goes into the soil and pulls toxins out of the soil.
So the toxins are coming out.
The roots of cannabis,
I
say cannabis because if it's hemp or weed, whatever you're growing outdoors, it's the same plant.
Yeah.
But hemp is what people grow outdoors. So hemp has a way of, all cannabis has a way of taking the not the nutrients. It actually puts nutrients into the soil. Crazy. But it actually takes the chemicals, a lot of the chemicals and the heavy metals out into the plant, breaks it up, sort of like an oyster. I don't know if you know. Do you like oysters by any chance?
Like oysters.
Yeah. Do you like oysters? Would you eat
Yes,
oysters?
I like oysters.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you know that one oyster a mussel, a clam, they're all in the oyster family,
Mm-hmm.
can process 60 gallons of water a day of microbes. Oysters clean the water.
Nice.
You put an oyster in the water, a nest of oysters, each one of them will filter 60 gallons of water a day of bacterial and microbial things out of the water. So whenever you come to New York, you go to a bar, it's oyster night, guess where the oysters came from? The Hudson River. And you say, oh no.
It's true.
It's true. And 50 cents, go, and you're cleaning the environment. And hemp does the same thing in the soil. So it takes out a lot of the metals in the soil that throw the soil off. And so as a result of removing, it's called remediation. So as a result of removing those things out of the soil now becomes fertile to put other things in it. So you could see a piece of land that nobody did anything with, or if you know Jersey, the Meadowlands up here about where I live, it's all swamp, it's all nasty, you got chemical factories all over. We should be growing hemp all over that place, sucking all that shit out of the soil, putting oxygen into the air. And you say, well, we're not going to eat the hemp. No, you know what you do with the hemp? Make clothes, make gas, make fuel, make buildings. So when I saw that with cannabis and hemp, I was like, man, you got to understand all the things that plants do, from an environmental perspective, a financial perspective, your life, right? How you gonna pay the bills?
Yeah.
Where you gonna live? Where you gonna work? Right? You could be a farmer. Anybody could be a farmer. And then it's such an interest to every local society to create clean air and to clean the soil. So most times farmers they'll do crop rotation, right? So you got a big field like this, and you got like maybe 4 or 5 sections. So you grow on this one, and then next year you leave it alone, and then you're right. You kind of keep going like that, so that the soil can rebuild itself. So one of the ideas that we've been working on is, okay, as you're moving crops off, plant hemp there, because the hemp will remediate the soil, so you can actually maybe get going with a later crop, later in the year, like roots or whatever it is, and the land is more fertile because it's less toxic. So now you don't need nutrients as much anymore because the soil is less toxic, and it will repair itself. It will take in more. It will take in more microbes. It will take in more worms. It'll take in more carbon dioxide. The soil eats carbon dioxide. That's the main reason why the air is so the way it is. It's the main reason why we get so many diseases, is because the air is polluted. Who cares about whether or not getting warmer? It ain't gonna get that much warmer. And if it does get warmer, the ice caps melt, and we have more food up there too. So that's all good. And we need more water in Africa and other places. So let the fucking ice caps melt. The ice caps for a reason, because the earth got frozen. It wasn't like they were made that way. But the point is that the air is so important to the soil, which is so important to the plants, which is so important to the animals. We're one of the animals, right? And so what we eat should be from the earth, not from another animal.
Other animals, yeah. You're right.
Kind of go over, but I love it, and cannabis definitely brought me into it, learning how to grow it, but not just learning how to grow it, but other plants. And then you realize that all these other plants have such a big place. So right now, I think Bill Gates is the biggest, richest farmer in human history. Jeff Bezos is probably the richest farm retailer. And you name a company right now, I don't care, Uber, any of them, they're all involved in food service. Procter & Gamble, Unilever, 7-Eleven, Walgreens, Walmart, they're all selling food at very, very high prices, and they don't grow anything. So if you want to get into a good business, sounds corny, but be a farmer.
That's not.
And be an urban farmer.
That does not sound corny at all. We'll be contacting you.
All right. Well, I mean, you're a grower. You're a gardener.
Enigma says she wants to start it in North Carolina. She says she's trying to start here. Any advice that you have for her?
Well, North Carolina is an agricultural state for sure. but it has a lot of the same problems that we have here in North Jersey, in the north in Jersey, and that is very wet. But you do have longer grow seasons. One of the other issues with growing on the East Coast is the land, right? So I would just say, in anywhere you are, forget the land, leave the land alone. Try to go into pots, try to go into greenhouses, try to go into something sustainable that's weatherproof, right? And when you have the summer, you could do anything you want. But if you're growing anything in the summer, the spring, and the fall, you got to stop after that, and you're out of work. So you have to depend on your crop. You have to depend on your harvest. And if you're in cannabis, for example, and you get a couple mites, you're done. You're done for the year. And all the money you put into growing it. And this is the same thing with any farmer. That's why a lot of farmers are broke, because they borrow money. They you ever hear the expression, what's the, I forget it. There goes the farm, right? Because you mortgage your own house to get equity, to go to the bank, to get your seeds and your nutrients and all that stuff, so you can have a good harvest. But if something goes wrong and you don't get that harvest, you're out of business. You are bankrupt. You are done. But
so you should be harvesting and growing during the winter so that you have it ready for the spring.
Absolutely. And when you could do a 12-month grow harvest cycle, you now have deterministic crops, right? So if I'm a farmer's market, or if I'm a local smoke shop, right? And I want your flower, and I love your flower, right? But you only get it to me once a year. Well, then I might go to Oregon, who's going to have it all year long, right? So if you have a greenhouse and you're growing veggies or hemp or cannabis or whatever, you can now tell your customers, listen, I'm going to have X amount every week. I may not have 1,000 pounds, being greedy, 1,000 pounds, and 1,000 pounds is no good, and they waited 6 months to get 1,000 pounds, and everything's all fucked up. You do great. But look, I might get you like 3 pounds a week. Well, you know what? Yeah, that's 450 grams. Yeah, I'll take your 120 grams a week, no problem. And now you're cycling out, right? So you got a few plants. You get into the second month, 8th, 9th week, you're cloning out. So now you got those plants coming. Now you got another harvest coming, and after you start your first grow, after about 3 months, you should be harvesting every week in a greenhouse if you do it right. In a greenhouse, you should be able to harvest every week. You should be able to have plants in cycles, right? In veg mode, up to maturity, flowering, boom, because these are annual plants. So if you can start new plants every week, you should have a harvest every week somewhere after your 8th week. So again, the greenhouse business is in line with permaculture, with that gardening book that I was telling you about. It's about being deterministic. It's about using more smaller area to get higher yield, to have a symbiotic relationship so you get higher quality in a faster amount of time. You should be able to beat any other traditional farming method if you focus on companion planting, permaculture, symbiotic relationships, like I just talked about the mushrooms and the air and all things like that, and be successful. And you'll be successful by not wasting too much money and time on a big thing. You want to use what you have to fund the rest, right? So I talked about kale. You're going to use kale to start my lettuce farms. I'm not going to be growing lettuce in the winter, even though you can. You can grow radishes and spinach. You can grow radishes in the snow.
Oh, wow.
You can grow spinach in 0-degree weather. Wow. Literally, you can grow spinach in the cold. If you cover it with a greenhouse, you don't need to heat up the greenhouse. The spinach comes up, right, in the sun. The sun is warm in the greenhouse, 60 degrees in the greenhouse, even though it's 0 degrees outside. Maybe 30, 45 degrees, at night kind of thing. And at night, it'll wilt. It'll look frozen, wilted. It'll look dead. The sun comes up the next day. The spinach is there. You take that out. You take it to the market. Now you got spinach every week. Imagine if you could grow, 10, 30, 40, 50 pounds of spinach every week. That's a job. That's a job. And that's just one crop.
What you say? You're working for yourself.
You're working for yourself and your family. You don't have to pay for food anymore. I mean, unless you want to go out for that steak dinner, then you go.
And then also you're doing things for the environment too. Like you're actually, you're giving back. You're not just taking it all for yourself. You're actually growing for other people too to enjoy.
Growing for other people. I would also recommend, if you're in North Carolina, you're gonna have a lot more space, a lot more than we have up here in Jersey. California has lots of space too, right? We're crammed. We're at 9 million people in 10,000 square miles. It's like when people talk about Colorado. Look how good Colorado's doing in cannabis. Now, there's only 5 million people in Colorado. We're double the amount of people in Colorado. There's 50,000 square miles in Colorado. And, there's not enough people to kind of make that case. They have to export everything. New Jersey, we have to import everything because we can't sustain our population. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that being said, the same model exists if you go to North Carolina. You have more space, and one of the things you should look at doing is using certain kinds of animals and insects, not insects, some insects like ladybugs, obviously, but chickens. I never thought I'd be in livestock, but we're looking at buying a couple hundred chickens to go into our farm, because up here in the north we have a lot of deer, right? We have a lot of ticks, deer ticks, Lyme disease. The chickens eat the tick all day long. They can eat thousands of ticks a day. You know how big a
chickens, right? And
chickens.
And you want to get rid of the ticks. That's real.
You want to get rid of the ticks, and you want some fertilizer? And you want fertilizer? There you go.
There you go.
Let the chickens go around the plants, eat all the bugs off, right? So if you have room for, I don't know, 100, 200 square foot, garden, market, get a chicken coop. Get 10, 15 chickens. And now you got your fertilizer. You get some mulch next door. You don't have to buy any fertilizer. You should be able to grow vegetables. You should be able to grow hemp. You should be able to grow herbs, everything else, and chickens. and you might be vegan, but you can at least sell some eggs to somebody else. And you can have the chickens. The chickens will last a few years if you don't want to eat them.
Awesome. You said, that's such great information. People need to know that stuff.
Yeah, and also, check every state.
Yeah, because every state is different.
Every state is different, but every state has a Secretary of Agriculture, and in the agriculture website, ca.gov and nj.gov, they'll tell you the types of crops that state wants you to grow. Not that they're mandating you to grow it, but if you grow it, they'll give you the money to grow it.
And you said look that up and look for what?
Any state website. California.gov, go to the agricultural department. NewJersey.gov, NorthCarolina.gov, go to the agricultural department. Start looking through.
So you can see what they need. Okay.
See what they need. They're generally called specialty crops.
Okay.
So there's about 130 different specialty crops in New Jersey. One of them is hazelnut. Hazelnut?
For Nutella.
I mean, yeah, you were in Nutella. I like hazelnut coffee, but I didn't know we had a shortage.
I didn't know either.
I'm going to start hazelnut trees this year. And next year, I'm going to go to Jersey and be like, look, I need about
that's 10, so cool, though.
It's cool. I need 10,000 pounds of, I need 10,000 pounds.
I'm in Cali. I got to see what Cali needs.
Yeah, you got to see what Cali needs. But when you do that, right? So I go to Jersey and be like, look, I need 10,000 pounds of soil for these hazelnuts. Well, how much is that? $4 or $5, a cubic foot kind of thing. And all right, so they cut me a check of $7,000 because of the hazelnuts. I'm not gonna use all that soil just for the hazelnuts. I'm gonna be doing companion planting. So now I just got my soil for my hemp, for my broccoli, for my herbs, for my salad, for my this and that. And so when you think more permaculture, and you look at the state. The certain things don't grow in the state needs that. They will pay you to do certain things, and that gives you the operational money to go out and build other parts of your business. Ideally, you want to have as large amount of crop as possible. Since this is a cannabis discussion, it's the same thing in cannabis, right? Any dispensary, they're going to have a wide range of products. When you consume cannabis, you want to put it on your skin sometimes. I love it on my skin, topical. You want to ingest it. You want to have it as a lozenge. You want to have it, as to smoke or to vape. I like vaping. It's very clean, the air. So I like smoking, but I don't know what I've been smoking my whole life. I cough all the time. It's like ticklish to me, almost like an allergy effect. So the vaping is very clean, and these are all processes that any farmer can do. Any farmer can make vape oil.
Yeah.
Any farmer can make vape oil. I can make vape oil. It's pretty easy. And if you have all the right things to make oils, such as like, you know, oregano oil. Now you got a little oregano farm, right? You got a little oregano garden. Yeah. Oregano can get that big, right? You can have like this much oregano, and that might make you a few $100s a month. But you can decarboxylate that. You can soak it in oil, and you can have an oregano oil, which is more powerful than most of these medicines out there. It kills everything oregano oil, and then drop some CBD in there. How about that? I don't know if anybody in the market has any CBD or THC or full spectrum oregano oil.
My friend has a full spectrum oil. She just told me today, you need some, we have it. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah, get it. I like the full spectrum. I personally do isolate only because it helps to. CBD is 100% legal. It was deregulated in 2018 at the state level. Then it became regulated in 2020 by the federal government. Cannabis, everybody keeps talking about cannabis is illegal. Hemp, I planted 40,000 plants in New Jersey last year with a federal permit. 40,000. Tell me cannabis is illegal. I love that. and it was by the USDA. And then the DEA says this is okay. And now the FDA says you're working on it. It's the same plant. And somebody says, okay, now turn that into THC. I'm like, okay.
And they smell the same. They look the same. Like, here, let me pick one up. And you know, their leaves are different. Some are pointier and some are a little rounder. Some are thinner. Like, I get it, but if you can see,
what you got? Ah, the little baby.
Yeah, so those little babies, and then so that one's different from this one.
Ooh.
See? The leaves are different, but
let me see. Hold that a little straighter. Let me see that. Yeah, hit those leaves on the bottom there.
Okay, let
Chop
me
them off.
Get
really
this one
important
right
for the
here.
lights to get. Remember, the soil is alive, right? Not saying you're not doing it or whatever. I'm sure you look like you got about 2,000.
No, I mean I got to prune tonight anyway, so you know.
Yeah.
You know why I'm here.
I had a neighbor in Patterson, Patterson, New Jersey. It used to be all Italian, like Abbott and Costello were there. You got the Costello Memorial. So this little old lady next door at my mom's house, Louisa, was trying to tell us how to fix our rose bush. The rose bush would grow and die. It's like, you got to cut it. And she said that there was this saying in Italian that goes something like, if you make me poor, I'll make you rich. Right? So when you grow in a plant, it's going to go in all these different directions, leaves on, right? So when you prune it down, what you're going for is the flower. The roses are where the money's at, not the thorns, right? So same thing with cannabis, same thing with anything. That's what we did outdoors is we went single cola. So we top, prune, so that the flower can come right out of the roots, and the sun can energize the soil. The sun was hitting the soil. The soil was doing its work. The plant is naturally sprouted right out of the ground, and you can smoke that in 2 months. Not even 8 weeks even.
Love the plants. Okay.
Love the plant. Yeah.
They bring such joy. It's like really taking care of them, and seeing the nurturing and seeing the nurturing paying off. Like, it's a people are like, you're such a geek, whatever. I love plants.
Yeah. Everybody, when you get close to the plant, you just fall in love with it. It's like, I think a lot of people in the country, I mean, most of us live in urban areas, the population, right? But if you get up to the country, you feel it. You feel the oxygen, you feel everything else. And then when you get dirt, you get literally dirt on your hands, right? And you get the green and the resin on your hands, that goes into your skin. It changes you. It totally changes. Native Americans, the original humans in Africa, it all got started based on how to farm and be with the plants. Not hunting. And the natives hunted for the most part, but they were more dependent on the land that they were at to get other food. They lived off the animals because it was winter, couldn't grow in the winter, right? But in Africa, where all civilization started, we stopped climbing trees and stuff like that, or whatever you believe in from primates, and started doing things in the ground, and that's what created civilization. And the civilization, as we learned in 5th grade and 6th grade, we started following as humans this path of fertility, right? Remember there was Timbuktu in Ethiopia, then Egypt, the fertile Nile, and then Tigris and Euphrates, the fertile valley, and then Mesopotamia, and the fertile this, the fertile that. The humans went all over the world following the plant, any plant, all plants, because that's what civilizes people. I just throw this out. You know, people used to say, we call each other kings, queens, right? Oh, that's when y'all wasn't kings. Actually, yes, kings and queens back then represented landlords or farm owners. So a king owned a lot of land. That's what made him a king. Sort of like a mayor. Yeah. He owned a lot of land, and people worked on that land, and they had food, and they had trade, and they had commerce, and they had language. They were kings. And when the kings left, it was actually the queens that ran everything. They were literally queens that ran the land and ran the farmers and this and that. And somehow we lost that when European history took over with all the wars and religion and all that other stuff. But I think we have an opportunity to get back. I love the Vikings too, by the way. The Vikings are pretty cool because they didn't believe in all that, you know, history God stuff. Yeah, they wanted was farmland. Yeah. All they wanted was farmland.
And also CBD is like one of the things that can be mailed out. Like everyone can get it no matter where you're at. Oh yeah. So tell them where they can get GreenCell CBD.
So GreenCell is owned by SoulCell. So the website is soulcellco.com, SoulCellco.com. You can Google us, SoulCell CBD. SoulCell sounds a little funny. Some sort of sounds like a solar cell, because what the idea is soul, which means sun in Latin, and the cell, whether you're giving light to the plant cell or giving light to your cell in your body, photosynthesis. You want to have more light in your life, solutions to disease, go for the plant, getting sun, and you get the sun and the soul in your cells as well.
Awesome. So do you also grow the hemp that you use in your CBD, correct?
Yes and no. We used to.
Okay.
Now it's easier for me to buy from labs. So the labs are
and they can test
better
it,
at extraction process and testing and everything. Yeah, and honestly, LA and San Diego is to me the best in the market when it comes to nutraceuticals and wellness and infusion. So we do send some biomass out there. We don't know what they do with it. They might take it to some isolate someplace else. But most of our products are not just cannabis and CBD. Like most of our pain lotions and things like that have about 50 or 60 other hydrogenized stem cell technology, plant and oil-based products. So it's not just about CBD with us. We use CBD as one ingredient, and we only use isolate-based products because THC is still regulated. We have federal permission to grow our hemp. We have federal permission to grow food. We're federally regulated. We don't want to fuck with the THC. I'll do that in my house. There, I got all the THC I want. If I'm growing it as hemp, know what?
Smart.
This one tested a little hot. Better not show the USDA that one. We'll keep that for ourselves.
A little treat, you know.
That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it.
Well,
and we encourage people too. Sorry, we encourage people definitely. In our state, the THC is very, very high in the dispensaries. We say go there, go get the highest. I like to smoke 96, 97, 95%. If they even have 97%, the highest amount of THC possible. Because then what I do is I follow up with CBD, because THC reactions are only in the brain, right? And when you put CBD and THC together, then the THC doesn't get to the brain. So I like to get THC to the brain, and then I do a 1-2 punch, and I hit it with CBD, and the CBD literally drips the THC down my spine and around my body. So if you want to treat real pain, high levels of THC, good for me, should be good for you. Follow that up with CBD, and you'll take all that high out of your head. You'll still feel nice, but you'll actually drip it down your spine to all the nerve endings. And I learned that from a doctor in California, trying to treat nerve pain. THC is great for pain. CBD is better because of inflammation, but the THC gets stuck in the brain. If you can use the anti-inflammation and the THC in a 1-2 kind of strategy, you're gonna get some great benefits and real nice therapeutic benefits.
That's awesome. Wow, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try that. Thank you for all the information. Man, even drop
some
rules. Just diamonds.
Get some raw pure CBD. Sorry.
No problem. But make sure so make sure you guys go get some GreenCell CBD. Okay.
Thank you.
Ship it. You can go to their website, website. Yeah, you can go to their website. Tell them the website too.
Yeah, soulcellco.com. And I would just say too, I mean, you're in California, I'm in New Jersey. I don't care where you get your CBD from. I would probably, I mean, we have customers all over the world, literally all over the world. Like in the UK, they can't grow cannabinoids. We send a lot of CBD out there. But I would encourage people, support your local farmer. Support your local farmer. Somebody says, is your CBD better than somebody else's? Probably not. But it's from New Jersey, and I'm in New Jersey, and you're in New Jersey. So buy my CBD comes from New Jersey. That's why it's better. That's why it's better than HempWorks from Kentucky.
CBD.
Yeah,
okay.
That's why it's better than HempWorks from Kentucky. Sorry, Kentucky. I got to take care of my people in Jersey. They got to take care of me.
It's my people. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now I'm gonna put an order in anyway because I want to do.
Cool.
I like to try. I like to support and try people and try.
Oh, I appreciate that
as well. So I
appreciate that.
I definitely will be putting an order in this week. So
we give everybody discounts. If you get in contact with us, you probably get half off. So don't worry about it.
Oh, that's sweet.
And we're already low price.
Okay. Well, I know, right? Don't. I was gonna say, don't do too much discounts. It's all. Sometimes you gotta support. You just gotta pay. It's cool. Definitely.
There's a lot in this industry, and people are charging way too much for things, and trying to take advantage. And at the end of the day, it is medicine. It is a plant. It's pretty inexpensive to grow. CBD is worth more than weed, people. I make $50,000 a kilogram by selling 1,000 grams at $50 a bottle. You see, I mean, if you can make $50,000, dollars in weed, I'm sure you could too. But CBD is good for everybody. You're not restricted. You should be in CBD. If you sell the babies, the dogs, everybody, there's good money in it.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah,
that's good money. I can make a kilogram on 50 pounds of hemp. 50 pounds. You probably got 100 pounds growing right there. And a kilogram is nothing. $50,000 is more than most people make in the country.
And this is not all the ladies. Okay.
It's not even all of them, right?
Not even all of them.
Those are just the babies incubated.
They were just the ones that I got through last night, and some. Well, I have some. There's some babies too, but then I did some cloning. So those babies they're beautiful though. They're coming. They're in they're on their little incubator, just getting babied up. But I'm very interested to see how they flourish and grow.
I'm very proud of you. I would feel the best. You're beautiful. You spend time in acting, and you're all over the country pursuing that career, and you're getting dirty, probably for $15 an hour, learning how to grow plants. People ask me,
you already know.
I'm like, look, I make $13 an hour growing pea shoots at the local county farm. There's not a lot of money, but let me tell you something. I have more pea shoots and more salad. I just gave my neighbor like 80 carrots. I mean, this is food everywhere. And now, if I sell CBD, I could make a couple $100,000 here and there. So there's that, right? So you got to know how to. You don't have to. You don't know how not have to grow everything, but if you want a good life, someone like you could probably be on. And I want to see you do some more movies and some other stuff where you're talking. So good luck with all that. But you're getting your hands dirty, so that's the most beautiful thing.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, Dan. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Don't want to keep you too much longer. I got to get back to these girls too. But thank you for coming in and
thank you
dropping your knowledge.
Okay.
I'll be in contact with you soon.
Definitely.
We got some work to do.
We got
to start it off. So
I got an eye on a couple of your genetics.
Right.
We're just gonna reverse the THC out of them, and that becomes hemp.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely gonna have a good talk. We'll have a good talk about that too. Probably hit you up maybe this weekend or Monday for sure, and tell you about that as well. So.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Ife. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for being here. You have a good evening.
All right, ciao. Thank you too. You too. Good night.
All right, bye, Jerseyer.
Go Green.
Go Jets.